Hey everyone, my name's Karan. I'm over at Duo. You guys might have known me from my Meraki days. Same person, just moved over to the Duo side. Joining me on my call is my engineer Flavio. Towards the end, we're going to have a bunch of time to kind of field some questions. So feel free to ask me or my engineer at that time. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen here. I just have a quick little PowerPoint presentation for y'all. Not a big PowerPoint guy. I know you guys would rather be drinking beer than be listening to me. So I'll try to make it quick and get you out of here. Amy, can you just give me a yes or no if you can see my screen?
No.
We can see it, Karan.
Yeah, okay. Thanks, Fabio. Awesome. So welcome, Duo Security. Like I said, Karan Sharma, I'm your account manager for Iowa for the public sector. So I cover SLG accounts, higher ed, and K-12. And then my engineer is also with me. He's works on the same team as I do, but he covers the rest of the team as well. But he's joining us. His name is Flavio. All right, let's get this moving. So today's agenda, like I said, I'm going to make it kind of brief. What is Duo, right? A lot of you are probably not sure what Duo is, why MFA is important, a little about K-12 and why there's a push in the K-12 side, not just for having security, but also from the federal government and state and local governments. And then a quick little demo. We're going to run through what the end user experience looks like. And then also show you guys a little cool thing, which is called passwordless, which we're about to roll out here in the next couple months. So quick little thing, what is Duo, right? And it's something secure how someone or something is accessing work assets. That's kind of MFA in general, right? So someone could be employees, contractors, could be vendors. Something is, they're trying to access is phones, workstations, virtual machines, and the work assets are applications, VPNs, that sort of thing. So that is basically in a nutshell what Duo does, but let's jump into it, how we do it, right? So we have to verify the identity of the user, right? Karan Sharma works at Duo, right? Is assigned to this laptop, has a cell phone. We verify, there's a couple things that Duo does kind of differently from the other vendors that are out there, right? And that's something, one of the things that we do is verify the health of the device. So you have a cell phone, iOS, device, maybe it's not running the most updated, iOS version, right? Instead of just having, hey, we're just running MFA, the other thing that people mostly forget is to also have devices that are compliant. Maybe a browser is out of date. So we do a quick check on if that health of that device is good. We check which user and device can gain access. So if you're an admin account, you need admin privileges or you need a privileged account access, you get access to that, but another user might not. And we protect all of those applications all the time. So that's kind of a little different from other MFAs as well, is that they might not protect all the different types of applications that you have in your organization. We protect them all. So the first step is obviously MFA. Second check is that device checks. Third is access control policies. And lastly, zero trust or SSO. Now, one thing I mentioned on that last slide was, a little differentiator with us is that we integrate and adopt with all applications that are out there, right? So for identity, we use things like Microsoft AD, or you could even use Okta, OneLogin, ADFS. But there's tons of applications that are listed here and more that we integrate with. These are some of our named integrations, but even if they're not a named integration, there's a chance 99% of the time we will be integrated with. We can integrate with them. The main ones that we see right now are, hey, I need to put MFA on my VPN. We do that. Hey, I need to put MFA on my Office 365 or my mail applications or Google. We do that as well. So now the other thing as well, I kind of hinted on this earlier as well, is kind of doing some device checks, right? So a couple ways that we do that. If you look on that right-hand side, that's a little drop-down. That's a software install that goes on the end device itself, like a Mac OS, for example. And it's just doing a few checks, right? It's checking, hey, is that device up to date? Does it have the newest or updated firmware? Does it have a system password set, right? Is firewall enabled and is firewall enabled? Say one of those things were not enabled. And I'll show you this in the demo as well, but it'll tell you and it'll actually walk you through on the user, especially on how to set that up and how to get that enrolled so their device is compliant, right? And you see that little security check as well. It's like, hey, your device is up and running. It's not jailbroken, has Face ID enabled. We're happy. This is a clean device. And as a IT administrator, you can say, okay, I'm happy because my user has gone ahead and has a compliant device. They can access whatever they're looking to access, right? In terms of the compliancy, we are fully compliant with all the different acronyms that are out there. So just be rest assured that, hey, one of the things is, hey, my cybersecurity insurance is requiring it. It requires, NIST, for example. Do we meet that capability? Absolutely, we do. So why MFA, right? Outside of cybersecurity insurance requiring MFA, there's a lot of security reasons that we should consider MFA. One of the reasons is 81% of breaches involve weak or stolen password. Most of the time, if you're not using MFA at the moment, it's just a username and password, and someone logs in. Typical passwords we see are like password 123. You'd be surprised how many are out there, and as IT personnel, you probably know. The second thing is 70% of them are breaches because of compromised devices, right? It could be out-of-date devices, that sort of thing. So those are some of the reasons that we look for MFA, right? Having that second factor is really, really important, especially with that password. You could even have a weak password, but if you have a secondary authentication source like a device where you have to press approve or deny, that will eliminate a lot of those detractors. Now, the other thing is, okay, this is all great, sounds nice, but like, how easy is it to use? Is it complex for my users, right? The hardest thing is we as IT personnel might really enjoy and see a lot of benefit in this, but is it easy for our end users? The answer is yes, right? We have multiple ways of authenticating, right? So say a user does not want to use their mobile device. And I see this all the time, and Flavio can agree. A lot of people out there, they don't even have a smartphone to begin with, which is surprising to us all. But maybe someone has a smartphone, does not want to install a mobile app on their phone, right? What do we do there? So we all obviously have the push notification if they do have a phone. The other ways you can do it is a soft token, a SMS, a phone call, even 2FF, U2F, so YubiKey. I have one, installed here where you just tap it and then get into that device. Biometrics, and then hardware tokens, right? The hardware tokens are something that Duo sells itself. They come in a 10-pack, but they come with like a little keychain. So they can put them on a keychain and use that code that's generated, a 6-digit code, to get authenticated onto that specific application. But if they do have a smartphone, they can even wear an Apple Watch, and the Apple Watch will vibrate when that push notification comes in and they press approve or deny. It's that simple. The biometrics, something to note on that side, right? That's where the passwordless portion is coming, and we'll kind of run through a demo there. But that's really important to know that, hey, if your device doesn't have a biometric scanner, Ubico just announced that they're going to be releasing a fingerprint YubiKey. So you can use that as well as your passwordless biometric scanner. Awesome. The other portion, all right, that's all great. We have multiple ways of authenticating, multiple ways we can authenticate. How do we get this installed? It's actually a really easy process. I mentioned earlier, we use AD, right? Work with AD, integrate with AD. You can actually enroll groups on AD to then deploy Duo for you, right? So what you do is in that Duo dashboard, you'll run through, and one of the options there is, hey, enroll a group, and you can pick a group that's already from your AD. So let's say it's IT, right? You want to test it out for your IT groups. and you press, send enrollment emails. So then Duo would automatically send that user enrollment emails, and this is what it would look like. It's like, hey, your IT admin just told you to log in. Please follow these steps step by step to then deploy MFA. And that's all that happens, right? You don't have to send out emails or create a bunch of scripts or have a bunch of calls with your team to help them deploy it. Maybe you can just let them know, hey, you should be getting an email from Duo here shortly. We're just rolling it out. They'll have a step-by-step guide on enrollment. Now, there's a few different versions of Duo, right? And this slide kind of shows the 3 different ones: Duo MFA, Duo Access, and Duo Beyond. Excuse me. So what's the difference between all of them? Basically is Duo Access and Duo Beyond include a lot of those security and endpoint features that I was discussing earlier. Things like device visibility, device remediation, and then lastly on the Beyond side is things like trusted endpoints. Things like, hey, this device that Karan's trying to access O365 with is actually Karan owns that device. It's not a company issued device. We don't want that device to be accessing O365, right? So you can say, no, it's not allowed. And then lastly is the VPN-less remote access. So that works with our dual access gateway, where users can basically log into an SSO portal. Instead of also signing into a VPN client, they can get access to those remote applications that typically required VPN. Here's a quick little breakdown on what the cost is. Now, just keep in mind, I wanted to show this just so you guys had an idea, but this is all MSRP. This is not what you would end up paying, just like anything else, but just so you had a brief idea of what it costs and what it looks like. Now, one of the last things is, where does Duo help, or where does Duo come in to help K-12, right? As you all know, it's not just at K-12 where malicious actors are targeting, but it is one of the biggest reasons, or biggest areas that is being targeted is K-12, and it's because of remote learning and kids having their laptops kind of just thrown all over the place. So it's a big target. It's big enough where the Senate actually introduced a bill to help kind of complement or help get rid of the amount of malicious activity or cyber attacks that are coming to K-12. And that's basically it's at, I think, awaiting action for the House. That's where it's at. But this is kind of the full diagram or full language behind the act and why they're being targeted so much. I'm going to pause here before we jump into the demo. I said I'll answer questions towards the end too, but I wanted to kind of just wait here. I'll go back a couple of slides so you guys can see the different types of Duo and what different options there are. Does anyone have any questions here before we jump into the demo portion? I'll wait another second, but I'm guessing no one has any questions from all the silence.
No questions here, Karan. So I don't see any online either, so you can keep going.
Perfect. I'm going to quickly pause here. Love to get you guys some free swag, some Duo stickers or whatever I can get you, some socks. If you can just take a quick snapshot, so it should be a Google form. Nothing. It's just literally asking what your name, email is, and where you're from, so I can get that out to you. If you guys have a quick second, please take a quick snapshot of this or use your phones. I'll come back to this towards the end as well, so we can take a look and if someone missed it. But let's jump into the different demos here. So one thing I wanted to highlight is our Duo website. The website is really nice in that there's a lot of information available for you on how to do a bunch of the integrations. I'm just going to go to duo.com/docs. This is something that's available to you. You can type in the integration's name. So let's say it's OWA that you wanted to do. You can quickly jump into that, and we'll give it a second to load. And basically, it'll walk you through all the steps on how to set up the integration for OWA on the Duo site, right? There's going to be a nice little 7-minute video that you can watch as well that will basically walk you through all these steps. But you have all these steps here at your fingertips, excuse me. And like I said, like this is like not just for OWA. If you scroll down, it's available for all the different types of applications that you would be looking to enroll. The other thing that I'll mention is the free trials. We have a free trial program here. No credit cards required, nothing like that. But basically, it's a free 30-day trial on the Duo Access edition. And what's really nice about the trial is that Flavio and I are happy to jump on a call with y'all and walk you through a few of the integrations. Maybe we get 80 set up for you, and then we walk through, say, 0365. And what's nice about that is then you can go ahead and deploy it out to a few users. Maybe you test it out with the IT team, test it out with them, and to confirm that, hey, this deployment is correct. Once that deployment is correct and you know what you want, then you can add on the extra users, deploy it out to them. And what's nice with the trial as well is we don't, if you end up purchasing, that trial will convert to a paid account. So you won't lose any of your settings. So in a way, like Flavio and I basically help you stand up a full production Duo account kind of as part of the trial. So take advantage of it if you guys are interested. My contact information was up in the front. I'll go back to it, but feel free to reach out to me as well if you guys have any questions. But let's jump through a few of the demos. So the first demo is kind of just the Duo push notification, what that end user experience looks like. So a user would go in, say they were accessing OWA, they would type in their email credentials, their password, press sign in, and then they would get this prompt. Now, at this prompt, they have a few options, as you guys can see. Duo push, right? That would be for that cell phone, Android, iOS, the call me function, the passcode, and then on the left-hand side here is a YubiKey, right? So the user can then choose which way they want to authenticate. They can choose either an iPhone or a tablet. And if you see that there's a drop-down, they can actually enroll multiple different types of devices. It doesn't have to be just one. If you look on the left-hand side here, you say add new device. The user can add a new device as well if they wanted to, right? They still would have to first go through the process of completing that authentication process, but they could add another device. Maybe they got a new cell phone, whatever that was, they could authenticate with that using that. Now the user press send me a push. This is what they would get on their mobile device. Hey, login request was requested on your phone. They would have to go unlock that device. And this is the prompt that they would get. Now, this is all really important to see. It's like, hey, what are the questions, or what's the description? What the user is, where the location is, and what time. A lot of times people would just go ahead and blindly check and say approve, but maybe you got a notification and you're like, I never asked for a push notification. It's really important to see where it's coming from and what date. Kind of going back to the Duo Beyond portion of it, what's really nice with Duo Beyond is you can actually say, hey, any requests that come from outside of the United States, we're going to block completely, right? So in that way, even if a request came from, say, China, England, Russia, whatever it was, it doesn't even have to be a bad actor, right? It's just we want to only have people authenticating from inside the United States. That would automatically get denied. But if, say, a user says, hey, this is me, this is what I was trying to access, I press approve, and they get logged in. I'm going to stop here real quick. Any questions on this portion? No? Okay, cool. So moving on, the Duo Access, so this is another demo kind of relating to the access portion, right? So Duo Access. Say a user goes to log in, and this is for their VPN service. Now, VPNs are important because you're obviously accessing confidential information, company data, whatever that would be, just basically very sensitive information. The user would typically go in to log in, and all of a sudden they would see this screen. And this is, hey, the browser that you're using is out of date, right? We want you to be using the most updated software update for that browser before you're accessing the VPN. You can see what's going on here? It's like, hey, your latest version is required. Your version is 24 days out of date. Now that's nice, right? And what's nice about this is you can pick and choose which applications you have very strict policies on and which applications you don't. So it's not like a full-on thing where every single application is going to get this notification. Users are reaching out to you and complaining. But if it's for VPN, then you can say, hey, I understand you're upset, but you have to update your device to get access. That's kind of, in terms of compliance, that's where we're at. I'm sorry. One other one that I wanted to show you guys, is trusted endpoints. So we kind of talked about this earlier as well. It's like, hey, I don't know if I trust this device or not. It's not a company-owned device. Say a user goes to log in, and they would see this specific, hey, you were trying to access this specific application, but we require you to have the most up-to-date, a company-owned device to access this application. You can say what's allowed. It's like, hey, I'm sorry, this is what the issue is. If you have problems, please contact support, right? And that's included in the Duo Beyond portion of it. I'm going to quickly pause here before I jump to the next demo. But any questions on the Duo Push, the Duo Access Control, the trusted endpoints, and any questions on that? Awesome. I guess everyone's just getting ready for the brewery and they just forgot about me, huh? Okay. So the next thing I wanted to show you guys, this is the Touch ID or the passwordless demo. This is really cool. This is something that's getting pushed out, like I said, in the next couple months. And you can use things like the Touch ID on a Mac OS, the Windows Hello portion. You can use the YubiKey as well. But say a user was trying to access Box, they would say, okay, as you notice, the first thing that pops up is just the email address, right? It's not even asking for a password. They would press next and say, hey, please verify your identity. Cool. They would press their, the Touch ID portion on their device, press OK, and logged in. And that's it. So users don't even have to remember passwords. So that's coming up next, and it's going to be really cool. I'll quickly kind of show you what it looks like when you're trying to enroll. So you say a user wants to enroll the passwordless portion to one specific application or an application. They'd go into their single sign-on, put in their email address, their password, and then they would get prompted for the 2FA, right? Hey, are you trying to access this specific page? Yes. Okay, please approve. Awesome. It's like, hey, do you want to set up passwords? Are you tired of passwords? Do you want to set up passwordless? It's like, absolutely. Let's do it. Set it up now. Now you can use, like I said, either a biometric, like a security key, or Touch ID. Use Touch ID, and boom, done. You're enrolled. So that's coming up soon. It's going to work with SSO, and SSO is available kind of in all options. The other thing I can show you as well is we have a nice little diagram, if you forgot, on what the different types of editions that we have and what each edition means. If you go to duo.com, under editions and pricing, you can go to compare editions. Let's have this guy load here, hopefully. Here we go. If you scroll down, you have all the different editions, and it's listed on what edition has what type of feature. The last thing I'll say too is we do offer education pricing. So K-12 student accounts and higher ed customers do get really great pricing on that extent. So if you guys have any questions on the trial, if you guys have any questions on the different versions, whatever it is, feel free to reach out to me. I will quickly just hover over this page. If you guys want to jot down my contact information, you can also ask Amy or any of the IP Pathways people as well if you don't grab this. And feel free to reach out to me on that. But lastly is I'm going to keep this up kind of while I open it up for discussions or questions. Does anyone have any questions, anything Flavio or I can answer Feel free to ask any technical questions as well. That's why I brought Flavio on. But any and all questions, fair game here. Awesome. It's pretty quiet. So Flavio, anything that, you want to point out or anything I missed that, we should probably show off here? Do you think that would be good?
No, you covered everything well. It's just once they start the proof of concept, we could dive down into the admin panel deeper into how to protect applications and integrations. But it looks good.
Awesome. Yeah, like Flavio said, and I feel like I'm being a dead horse here, but we can walk you through the integrations. That's kind of why we're here. We want to make sure that before you even decide to purchase or go down that route, your integrations are set, and Duo does what you're looking for it to do, right? So there's no questions. I'll wait again, but no questions. I'll give you guys time back in your day and have another break. Unless, Amy, there's someone over there that has some questions.
No, I don't think there's anybody over here. So I think we'll go ahead and take just like a 5-minute break. But thank you, Karan. We appreciate it. Obviously, we'd love to have seen you in person, but we know that wasn't possible this time. So maybe soon.
I wish I could have. Oh, actually, we got a question here.
Oh.
Can you show MFA login for Windows? Absolutely. Give me 1 second here. Yeah, Amy, I would have loved to have been out there as well. If Cisco let us travel, I would have been there. I was very jealous that you guys get to go to a brewery without me. So I
was going to say, we'll make sure to have a drink for you.
Thank you. Awesome. Here we go. Awesome. So Windows login. So someone would go ahead and enter their specific username, their password, press sign in, and
Karan,
this is what the prompt will.
We can't see the screen very well. It's like can we make it? Oh, okay. Can you pause for just a minute? They're getting your screen bigger.
Yeah.
Okay, now you can go. Thank you.
Okay, no worries. All right, so username, password, they would press login, and then they would select the device as like they would for any of the other push authentication sources. They would press send me a push. The device then would prompt them, hey, are you trying to log into Windows? They would press approve, and then they would get logged into that specific desktop or laptop or whatever they were trying to access. The one thing that will show that it's not on that demo, we are rolling out kind of the timed, let me show you here what I mean by that. If you notice on the first demo that I showed, there's a remember me portion. It says remember me for 1 day. That's a standard remember me 1 day. That's for the specific demo. You can change that to 12 hours, 1 hour, 30 minutes, or even 7 days, whatever you kind of wanted to tweak in terms of the time length. But we're rolling that out for the Windows login portion as well. So you can have, hey, for 12 hours, every time the screensaver comes on, I don't want to have to, do a second factor of authentication, push notification every single time. It gets annoying. So we're rolling that out as well. But that was a good question. Awesome. I think that was the only question. So I'll give it back to you. Amy, I appreciate you having me on. Thank you, everyone, for being here. Enjoy the brewery tour. And Flavio, thank you, sir, for joining as well.
Yep.
Thanks, guys. We appreciate it.